Welcome to the chat. My name is Noah. I'm a student at McGill University, and joining me on the other side from the Strong Island, that's my buddy Terence. Terence, what's going on, my man?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm also a student at Northeastern University. We're gonna get down to it. I'm ready for this. Let's go.
So listen, we started this podcast because myself, Terrence, and our buddy Jeremy, who actually couldn't be with us right now, we all went to high school together, and we always stayed in contact. We all played on the same basketball team together, and it's been 2 years since high school, and we talk to each other every single day, and I find myself laughing my butt off every single time we talk. So I figured, man, we got to get together and do this in front of people, because if we had an audience, maybe some people would like it. So that's the idea for this. We're going to touch on sports, pop culture, and really anything that we have an opinion on, because it can get pretty heated. So we'd like to start today talking about Russell Westbrook. Now, for the three of us, Russell Westbrook is...
He's the man.
How would you say Russell Westbrook is for us, man?
He's the man, simply put.
He is like what's brought our group chat together. Man, I can't even describe words. He's just such an entertaining player in this league, and man, it just brings so much joy. But so you can see that when all these trade rumors are popped up, that we're having a tough time with this. So what do you think about the Russell Westbrook trade rumors, Terrence?
Definitely has troubled me a lot because I'm the Oklahoma City Thunder fan of the group. Jeremy likes San Antonio. Noah's kind of Toronto, Boston, all over the place.
Listen, I love good basketball. I watch everything, and it's tough. When you grow up, I'm from Montreal, so I don't really like Toronto. There's a little bit of beef going on there, so it's tough. I definitely have favorite players, but I don't really have a favorite team. Although I gotta ride for the six,
Yeah.
So anyways, Terrence, tell me, what do you think is the best destination for Russell Westbrook?
I think we call him Rusty. I think Russ should just. I think he should stay home. But realistically, if he's trying to match what Golden State has put together, or what Cleveland has going on, or Chicago rebuilding, Derrick Rose thinks the Knicks are a super team now. But honestly, everyone's saying Boston, but I don't agree with Boston because they still don't have the superstar pieces. They have Isaiah Thomas, Marcus Smart. They'd have to forfeit a lot of picks. I can't imagine who they could package together to swindle Westbrook from OKC. So I don't really know. And then the other option that's pretty popular is San Antonio, but it's like, would he go from one small market to the next, or would he take the jump to somewhere, a bigger city where he can keep his fashion going, he can keep his life going? And I don't know if Texas is for him, and I don't know if he's that petty where he'll go to San Antonio just to meet up with KD in the Western Conference Finals and hopefully take him down. But I don't know. Pop is a gold mine, so
Yeah.
you never
See, this is
know.
kind of the funny thing about Russ is we think we know what he wants, but we really don't. Like we think that he has this big market personality, but he's been able to flourish in Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't actually know that he wants to be in LA. We know that he's from LA. We know that he went to UCLA, and he summers in LA all the
He
time.
works
But
out in Santa Monica, Venice.
we don't really know that he wants to be there. So it's tough. I also think, to your point about Boston, it's an interesting trade destination with the team as is. But the problem is they'd have to take that team apart basically to get him. It's a sign and trade situation.
Yep.
So I really think, personally, I think it's in his best interest to play the year out. Basically, try to go for that, like averaging Oscar Robinson 30, 10, and 10 numbers, because we all know that he can do it. See what he can do with that. Try to win an MVP, and the team. It's tough. I would love to see him in San Antonio. I don't think it necessarily would fit, just because.
It'd just be reckless,
It's a weird fit. But I just love the idea of him going somewhere just to spite Kevin Durant. Like that would be just that'd be the most Russell Westbrook thing to do. But at the same time, staying and just being like, F you, like I can't wait to play you. This year we're gonna kill you. Like that's also pretty Russell Westbrook. I don't know. I don't really know, but I think if OKC knows that he's leaving, they gotta trade him. They gotta get something back.
I also think Presti's kind of waiting because he seems like he's sitting on his hands. He was very authoritative earlier in the offseason by signing Victor Oladipo, swindling Sabonis, and Steve Adams is on the come up, and the big homie Dion, but that's a whole other topic. But
man, Dion is struggling right now. There's no, but Bill Simmons and Zach Lilly like to talk about Waiters Island, man. There's
Yeah,
nobody on Waiters Island these
yeah.
days.
He
It's
should get
crazy.
paid,
Like,
especially
you
if
would have thought with
Dellavedova
that
did.
performance he put together in the playoffs that somebody would be biting, but
I think
there's
his money is coming, but I think the problem is, low key, I think he wants to stay in OKC, but he doesn't know what everyone's doing. Westbrook, the team goes where Westbrook goes, so it's like, Presti, I feel like sitting on his hands because it's like, I think he wants the okay from Westbrook to say, hey, I'm staying. That way he could sign like a Rudy Gay, but the longer Westbrook waits, the guys go. Like Michael Beasley's a guy I really wanted in Oklahoma City following KD's departure, but now it's like he's off the table. And slowly, day by day, it's like these guys are slowly leaving the table. And I'm like, Presti, if you're going to keep Westbrook, you got to sign somebody. But it doesn't make sense signing someone without Westbrook on board. But Oladipo does look very good right now. I see him all over on the USA snaps, dunking, flying, having fun. Seems like him and Westbrook's chemistry would be really, really good. But I just hope Oladipo gets the chance to play with Westbrook. But again, Westbrook's very ambiguous. He was in Vegas working out next to the US. Now I don't know if it's next to the USA camp, but he was pretty dang close because he was, of course, in Vegas. So the way I imagine Westbrook is though, shirt off like Jr. in the gym, just working out by himself, him and his trainer. He probably doesn't mess with anybody on the USA team. That's just how he gets down. And it's just hard because he's in Santa Monica, he's in Venice, he's in New York. He'll come to Vegas to work out. It's like, what does Westbrook want? And then he'll have his little why not camp in Oklahoma. So you're like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to stay? So it's a lot. But I think Westbrook, I think his loyalty and his like kind of absurd weirdness. I don't know if that's the right way to call him. He's just different. But
he's a different guy.
yeah,
He's eclectic as they come, and if you're so, I guess the question is, I think I want to throw the ball at you and put you in a different perspective, right? So if you're Sam Presti, how do you handle this situation?
I think you gotta talk to your guy and you gotta say, hey, I'm guaranteeing pieces around you. We're gonna take KD down. That's the mindset. It's like I'm sure no one in the front office or on the court was happy with KD's move. Rich homie campaign isn't happy about it. Um, and I don't. You just gotta keep making your team better because if not, you really gotta trust your drafting skills and really get guys around him. If Westbrook does leave, I mean, they were able to get Steve Adams, Ibaka, KD, Serge, Harden, all through the draft. I mean, some of them were no brainers, but Serge was a diamond in the rough. Steve Adams definitely was. Nobody saw him being what he is. Um, who else? Even like they took Jay. Well, they got the trade with Jay Lamb. He didn't do anything, but they just definitely got some good picks in there that really shows how well they scout and how well their front office is. So, do you rely on that, or do you say Westbrook's our guy and we got to keep him? So,
Right. So let me tell you what I would do. So if I'm Sam Presti, I gotta think that this whole Kevin Durant thing really affected the team poorly. That there's going to be a lot of backlash, and I think there's a good chance that he stays for this year, but I think there's a really bad chance that he stays from 2017 beyond. So this year, I think you got to move him, and I think I know who would take him. I think
anybody would take him.
I think you could get D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, and even maybe a second round pick for Russell Westbrook. And I think I think they need to do it. I think they got to do it. I think LA would be head over heels to finally get a star to replace Kobe in those shoes. And I think the move makes a lot of sense. But
that'd be a great
it's
grab.
tough. It's because from different perspectives, there's different decisions, right? It seems like we're gonna have to just wait this one out. Yeah. That's kind of what it looks like.
But I don't think that makes the Lakers immediately better. I was like, hey, go there, either there or break up the Timberwolves. Like, hey, don't ask for Cat, but hey, give us Chris Dunn, give us Tyus, and give us Levine because they're not gonna give up Wiggy. So like, give us something. But it's like you really need those young guys. But our teams like Minnesota that work so hard to put those pieces together, and the Lakers who now have Ingram, D'Lo, Randall, Swaggy P, the homie.
Is Swaggy still on the Lakers?
Yeah, he is. Lou Will, too. Lou Will and Cam Payne work out a lot, so that'd be interesting if they can get him for the bench or something. If Cam could be in his ear saying, hey, come to Oklahoma City. Like, low-key, that'd be a great move. But that kind of transcends into what do you think the real reason KD left OKC?
Oh, man. So I mean, when we're doing the run through for this pod, like we have KD. I just wrote KD leaving because it's just because both of us. I think it's fair to say that Kevin Durant was your favorite player for
Easily.
the longest time, right?
Easily, yeah. Easily.
And for me, I always love watching basketball. I love just appreciating great players.
Mm-hmm.
And when Kevin Durant came in after his freshman year at Texas, it was just like I've never seen someone play like him, and I was just blown away by his talent, his agility for a 7-footer, his length, and like his ability to literally do everything on the floor. And my favorite thing about him though is there was always this. You got this sense that he kind of just didn't like anyone he played against. Like it was so competitive to a sense that like he is the type of dude he wouldn't slap five after the game. Like he wouldn't. Mm-hmm. He wanted to win that badly, and it really surprised me when I found out on the Players Tribune on July 4th that he was going to Golden State. Like I'm going to see him in a jersey come October and just be like, this is a dream, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely disappointed. I'm upset. Like I'm upset with him because, you know, I thought he was the type of player that was like couldn't wait to beat these guys. Like that he didn't like these guys, but clearly Draymond Green was recruiting this dude the entire year. Like they were having conversations about it after games and stuff like that. Like, and we all knew that there was tension between him and Russell. Like on the court, like we knew it didn't vibe perfectly, and it didn't make sense, right? It had improved so much over time because I remember. Like 2011, 2012, like we were hearing conversations about Westbrook being selfish, Westbrook taking all his shots, like he's not. But now, after when KD got hurt and it was Russell's time to shine. Like he just showed everybody what he could do, and he deserved to take those shots. But man, like we knew it wasn't really working, but to see him, it pushed him to a situation where. He described the relationship now as it will never ever be the same.
Yeah.
Like never ever, man. That's a long time. That's pretty much that. It's an irreparable situation.
Yeah. Seriously.
So maybe they did such a good job of downplaying how much they didn't get along really on the court. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's tough for people as an athlete. Like it's tough to be friends with somebody off the court that you don't vibe that much with on the court. Yeah. Like it's hard. It's you could be like casual acquaintances, but you can't be like real friends. And you just got the sense that they were real. I don't know.
Yeah, let me fill in some of the details because I do a lot of Oklahoma City Thunder like research. I have all of them on all social media. I read all the Royce White articles that he publishes. So let's draw it back to when OKC was in the finals with the Heat. I believe in 09, 010 that season. They lost, obviously.
No, it was 2000 when the Heat won their first championship. 2012.
Okay, yeah. So they lost, but the iconic picture was KD with his arms thrown over James Harden and Russell Westbrook in the corner, and then KD was crying. He walked back to the locker room. His mom was right there, and he was in tears. Like, you don't just cry. I mean, granted, that's the biggest stage in basketball, but anybody would cry. But it was like special tears, and it was like, wow, these guys are going to be back. KD's going to be back, and he was a competitor. So that was an interesting take that I kind of thought about when he made this move to Golden State, or when he was thinking about making the move, because I was like, hey, let me remember what he did. So branching off from that point, touching on the relationship between Westbrook and Kevin Durant, I remember Kevin Durant's little documentary he had on HBO. I watched all of it because I'm a fanatic. He's my favorite player, so I was watching it. And I remember specifically him and Westbrook working out in the gym with Steve Nash, and then they were doing hill workouts in the sand on the beach. Yeah, so, and then I just remember KD complimenting Westbrook like, hey, I'll never be as explosive as him. This guy's a beast, but I keep up as much as I can, and we both go hard and we push each other. And it really looked like a genuine relationship. It's not like Sam Presti or Scotty Brooks, RIP, was out there with him. They just look like brothers, and then like as the years went by, All-Star game after All-Star game, dancing on the sidelines. Like Westbrook, of course, would dance anywhere. KD starts to get loose, like especially this year with Campaign. He's the boy, yo. And then like they would dance before every game, and then KD would start to slowly get loose in the tunnels, and he was really looking like he was breaking out of his shell, and he was warming up to Westbrook. But you could definitely see it was tension earlier in the road. when Westbrook was in the finals and they called him, and Magic called him the worst point guard in NBA history, and it was just like, really? Granted, Russ came out like a real one and got 40, but it's like it was definitely tension and you couldn't hide it. There's plenty of arguments they had on the bench. It's one notorious recording when they're yelling back and forth, and then you try to downplay it, but it's I want to say it's Westbrook, like that's our guy, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something behind closed doors. I don't know
Yeah.
if Westbrook threatened. I don't know what happened, but two things for Westbrook to. It looks like he cut him off, right? We can say
Yeah.
that. It's fair
For
to say
sure.
that.
For sure. For sure. For sure. When Kevin Durant told him the news, he was definitely pissed, and
He cut him
he
off.
seems like the type of
Cut him
guy
off
that
like a
took
little
it
side piece. He
took
cut
it
him
the
off.
wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. But I think KD was trying to read Westbrook, but honestly, Westbrook is probably offended that he wanted to leave, maybe because it seemed like
Right.
if Westbrook was like, "Hey, I'm gonna stay. Let's get this championship. Stay home, and I'll stay too." Maybe KD had some alternative motives. Like he's not the nice cut, clean cut guy that we all America wants to see him as. He tries to be like this KD not nice campaign.
Yeah. Exactly.
What else did he do? He had
So here's the thing with KD that I knew was bad. Like when it started happening around free agency, he announced all his meetings. Like if you're, let's say if you're like playing for a house like a house league team, I don't know, like an inner city team, and you tell your guys after the season, like, all right, yeah, that was a great season, but like, I'm interviewing with a couple more teams just to see about my options and explore my options. Like look at DeMar DeRozan, right? DeMar's entering free agency. There was all this buzz about him going back to LA. But you know what he said? He came out and said, "Only me with the Raptors. That's the only place I want to be." And he signed, and he's getting paid. He's getting bread. Like it's obvious. It's obvious when people want to stay, and when they're when you're thinking of leaving, it usually ends up being a bad situation.
But I mean, granted, DeMar's B-list, KD's A-list superstar, but still, KD's not this nice guy, and it's like it's times on the court. Remember, he cursed at Dion, and then he tried to play it off like we were joking. I was like, yo, it doesn't look like y'all were laughing. It was just like it's just little times like that on the court that he tries to downplay it. He tried to have like a dope boy ambition, like attitude, and the media. Remember, he was like, I don't like y'all, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, KD. It's funny. It's like. He wants you to think that he doesn't care what you think, but then Royce Young comes out and says, like, this is the type of dude who was mad about like a Skip Bayless tweet. You know what I mean? Like when these professional athletes say that they don't read everything, like that's lying. When you know they're reading.
Yeah, they're reading everything. I truthfully believe Bron doesn't read everything because he'll go crazy if he did. But
for sure.
If he didn't read everything and he didn't care, then he wouldn't have reacted so strongly to everything that happened in Oklahoma City, like the backlash, and especially the part where he was in pajamas for 2 days playing video games because he didn't want to face the world. Now, it's like that doesn't add up. Like you're in your pajamas playing video games, you don't want to face the world because you can't tell Oklahoma City, your fans that ride with you for 7-8 years now, that you're soft and you want to go to Golden State because together they're a little soft pitch together, but apart we'll win. We might win a championship, you might win a championship, but together we'll win many. Like get out of here. I just want, honestly, this is another topic, but I want Boogie just to go to the land and then it just get real.
That's another topic for another day. But speaking of the land, actually, a cult hero of this group chat, J.R. Smith, has been asking for $15 million a year from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do you think this is a fair price for JR services?
He deserves it, man. Deli got 10. I don't want to hear anything. Deli Bodega got 10. And plus, JR historically is going to go down as one of the best three-point shooters that's ever played the game. You can hate on his style, his facade, how he carries himself, recklessness, tattoos, but the numbers don't lie. JR has made a lot of threes in his career, and despite his antics and his questionable shot selection at times, he makes tough shots. He's good at making tough shots. I don't know if he can make consistent open shots, but he's great at consistently making bad shots. So, and the numbers don't lie. He deserves at least 15, especially with Michael Conley getting 153 and Austin got a little check. Deli got a check. Everyone's getting a check. Collect your check. That's our motto. Collect your check. So, what do you think about it? You think he deserves the bread?
But my thing with JR too is it's at this point in free agency that Cleveland, who who else are they going to sign? Like that's their starting two guard. Like you have to do everything you can to keep him. Who else are you going to get? You're going to get Dion to replace him? Like, sorry, I don't know. I'd rather have J.R. Smith. And there's something to be said about the maturation of J.R. Smith. I mean, this is a guy who, you know, really was going through the ringer in the league a little bit, like bouncing around from teams and stints in Denver and New York and you know, remember he used to play for New Orleans. Like that's not the best city for JR to be in, right? But he seems to have really found himself in Cleveland. He's carved a niche with his team as like a 3-point specialist, like a 3-and-D type guy, and he seems to be a great character guy in the locker room too now. So I think if you're Cleveland, especially when you're dealing with LeBron James' prime, you have to do your homework and you have to provide him with everything that he needs. And I think that's exactly why LeBron James still is a free agent, and nobody's talking about it. Why isn't anyone talking about LeBron not being a free agent?
I don't know. I think that is so much speculation around it. Everyone just assumes Bron's going to stay home because he won the championship. But if he lost, it'd be everywhere. Royce would be writing every day. Your boy Bill Simmons would be writing every day. Like, but Bron won, so he's chilling, and I definitely think I thought he was scheming. He was trying to get Wade to Cleveland. He definitely was trying, but the money didn't line up, and I think that's why the ambiguity regarding JR lied around, because it's like, is Wade coming to town? Is my job gone? And so I don't know, but they definitely need to get their bench back together. I don't know if RJ's coming back. Richard Jefferson.
He's coming back. Yes, he's got a 2-year deal.
Back.
Yeah, he inked a 2-year deal.
But
he was telling us he was retiring, but I think he just wanted the attention. You know, you're an old guy like that. You just try to get it where you can get it.
Right.
But yeah, so in terms of JR, Cleveland, sign the man. That's our guy. He's grown so much. He's still the parade MVP. You got to sign him.
What about a package deal, though? What if they put him and K-Love together and got Boogie or someone just crazy down there? Because the key to beating this new Warriors team is attacking KD at the 4, attacking Draymond at the whatever they have him at, the 5 at times, I guess, and attacking soft Zaza Pachulia. Like, you got to go at those bigs, and I think Boogie, trust me, and guess how much fun they'll have together. You know they love taking flicks. They didn't like K-Love in the flicks. You put Boogie in there.
Did you watch the ESPYs, though? Did you see the ESPYs?
I watched parts of it, yeah.
So there was a part where Cleveland won. The Cleveland Cavaliers were the team of the year, right? Or they won the ESPY for best team or whatever, or best comeback, something like that. And you know, the whole squad walks up, right? And this is all mans. This is LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin, Channing Frye, JR, freaking Dante Jones is in there. Dante Jones seems to be he's like a part of that crew anyway. But
you know what I'm talking about, that crew they have together,
Kevin looks
right?
like he was cutting it up with everybody. So I don't know that it didn't fit. Like on every basketball team that you've played on, if you're winning, everything's good. Like no one's saying anything about anybody. No one's really complaining. Like it's all good when you're winning. And I think that's kind of the situation. Also, to answer your point about the trade of JR and Kevin Love, I don't think it's necessarily time to necessarily give up these assets that you have, especially when you've proven that it works. Like these are the champions. Like we're already anointing these Warriors as the legendary team, but we're discounting the fact that after their 4th best player, you know, there's not that depth that they used to have. That strength in numbers is not necessarily there. I mean, they had to really hemorrhage that team to get Kevin Durant. So.
But you bring up a point.
You still have the ingredients, anyways.
You bring up a point, though. Like you said, the formula worked, but it barely worked.
Hey, man, if
like
it works.
Barely.
It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. You still win, you know.
Like after game 1, we were like, "Yo, this is gonna be over in 4." I kind of felt how San Antonio zipped up OKC in the the court semis. They zipped them up, and I'm like, "Whoa." Jeremy's over here talking great, like, "Hey, we're getting him out of here in 5." I'm like,
I couldn't see how they were coming back for that
either. But I mean, that's a game of basketball. You make adjustments, and I think that especially with KD now in Golden State, everyone anticipates that's a matchup, unless you know the man got something up his sleeve and he takes the Golden State out. But you need production out of K-Love. Like 2 points is not hooping. Like shouts to Supreme Dreams. Like,
but you know what? I think like if we look at that matchup between Cleveland and Golden State, if their starters are as is, that means that sometimes Kevin Durant is going to be matched on Kevin Love, and I think that's a good matchup for Kevin Love. Like I like that matchup.
You think so?
All these guys who are stars, like Like we proved it. Steph Curry, their game plan was to get Kyrie to switch on to him. Like they didn't want to hide Steph in the finals. I think KD's a similar guy. Like KD showed with OKC that he's a really great rotation defender. And when they went to those small lineups, he showed that he can really perform and do those types of things. But I don't think the one-on-one defense is there. Kevin Love is still a bucket. Like everyone sleeps on my guy. That's my guy. Like I ride for this dude. I think he's gotten too much crap. I think he really had a bounce back performance in Game 7. Also, no one talks about this, but his plus minus in games in every one of their wins was plus 17 or higher. You know what I mean? Like he was doing a great job on the floor. Anyways, I think it's time to move forward.
Yeah, we can talk more about that later. My closing argument would be is you love K-Love. I'm not like 300% sold on him. He was a bucket in Minnesota, but you just got to entertain the idea of JR and K-Love for a nice piece because K-Love does have the potential. JR obviously can shoot. You just can't put him in a big city because, JR doesn't know how to act. So we got to keep it moving, but I think it'd be a nice package to put together, and it'd be interesting what Bron, the GM, got up his sleeve to keep the dynasty going. So
we'll definitely be watching.
Right.
A segment we like to do on this pod is called Do You Care? Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in our world, little tabloid pieces, little bits of news that pop up, and some of them I don't care about, but there are others that I do. Yeah. And I like to ask Terence because he usually has pretty good opinions about them. So the first one I want to ask you, Terence.
What's up?
Pokemon Go. Do you care?
Nah, no. Honestly, I mean, I played Pokemon when I'm younger, but come on, we're in our 20s. We're college students. We have a lot going on. We need internships. We're looking for jobs. We hoop. We work out. Pokemon is a huge distraction. I think if you play Pokemon religiously at this part in your life, I mean, granted we have time, it's the summer, but if you have time for Pokemon, you're not doing something right. Like, just go talk to a girl. Like, go holler. Like, do something. Call your ex. Like, do anything, but don't play Pokemon.
Call your ex. Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, don't play Pokemon. I mean, I can understand the passion and the love and why it's popping right now, but there's so many more things to do in the world than play Pokemon Go religiously. Like, I see kids camped out at the park. Granted, they're socializing, I guess, but they're all looking for the newest, like, Pikachu or Charizard or Squirtle, whatever them boys chasing these days. But I don't know. Pokemon's just not high on my list, but I can understand it. But do I care? Nah.
All right. So let me ask you something. Have you actually played the game?
I haven't. No.
Okay. So I'm gonna completely disagree with you here. I also grew up on Pokemon, and the game's amazing. Like I'm just gonna point it out there. It's addictive. It's amazing. I enjoy doing it in my free time, and I don't hate on this app because I think it's like the new fitness app. Honestly, like a lot of kids are getting out and going outside and walking around, getting on their bikes and moving because there's rewards to it. There's different. They found a way to take this game that we all loved and made it physical, and I think. I think there's no reason to hate on it. Also, I catch so much hate from people because they'll see me playing. They're like, "Are you playing Pokemon? You're 21." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I enjoy this. Like this is like how I want to spend my free time. And I'm gonna do it." So, anyways, I don't know. I care. You don't. That's fine. Yeah. Moving on. Drake is always in the news, but now he's in the news with Joe Budden. The Drake and Joe Budden beef. Terrence, how much about the beef do you know?
I know Joe Budden dropped "Making a Murder" or something like that. I forgot the name of the track. Obviously you could tell I don't care about Joe Budden, but he dropped a track. I've listened to like half of it. It's just like it's listening to like deaf ears. No one cares about his track. So like he dropped 2 tracks back to back to try to like he's reaching like just to sell his record, and then Drake gave him a Converse on No Shopping. Joe Budden act butthurt about it. And then he's going again. I heard he dropped another track. I don't even know the name of it or got around to it. I saw it briefly on one of my timelines. But Joe Budden, you're just washed up. And, I mean, you haven't had a hit since Pump It Up. And
Did you see this recently at Drake's concert in Austin? He was, just talking on stage. He's like, man, I should have brought Joe Budden out. He could have done Pump It Up. Yo, I was dying. This guy, this is how I kind of feel. I don't care about Joe Budden either. And not because not because he's irrelevant necessarily, but it just feels like he's a salty ex. Like it's like that girl that you broke up with that you'll talk, you'll get talking again, and then you'll say something, and then she'll freak out on you, and then start calling you out. But you're like, we're not together anymore. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Like, just chill out. It feels the same way with this guy. Like it feels like he's reaching for straws. He's just trying to get attention right now, and it's just all the real ones ride for Drake. Like it's
exactly.
This is not a valid beef. Like, because you can't tell me really where it started. Like what really started this? Like the farthest back I can think of is when Drake put out Views. Joe Budden went on his podcast and said that he's really uninspired, and he like gave a harsh review of it. But it's like, man, this dude did what, 8 weeks at number one? Like, come on, you're just sounding butthurt, and I agree with you. The next topic that I want to talk about, Terence, Tyus Jones of the Minnesota Timberwolves won Summer League MVP. Now, is this an award that we care about?
Typically, you can't play too much into the award. Granted, let's go back to Jeremy Lamb. I know him specifically because he's my guy of Oklahoma City. And Kyle Anderson, he's my guy since UCLA. He's from New Jersey, played IS-8 New York tournaments a lot. So he's my guy. I even rode for him back in the high school days when no one knew who he really was. I was like, yo, that's my guy. So,
slow-mo.
Yeah, slow-mo. I care only because Tyus deserves it. He had a great performance at Duke. He really rose his stock. And then he seemed like he was just going to be one of those Shabazz Napiers who kind of just fizzled and no one really heard of. So you can tell, just a test to how much work he put in the gym. He worked on his game. He doesn't care about his height. All the other rookie sophomores around him in Minnesota. But he really elevated his game, and I think it's not a huge deal, but I care because Tyus deserves it, especially with Chris Dunn coming for his job or his second string job. I think Tyus really showed a lot of resilience. He showed a lot of heart, and that he can play basketball at the NBA level. So I think it's a little big deal. I know it's an oxymoron, but it matters because Tyus deserves it, and I know Coach K is happy about it, and same with Tibbs. What about you? What do you think?
I think it does matter. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to tell you why. The point guard situation in Minnesota is starting to look pretty crowded. I mean, they still have Ricky Rubio, and there have been a lot of trade rumors with him. But Chris Dunn also was balling out there. I don't know if you saw him play, but this dude looks serious.
Sick, yeah.
He looks like he could start right away. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if they moved Rubio before the trade deadline. But I think this outing showed a lot of GMs like what Tyus can actually do. And even though it's not a perfect science, like performance doesn't translate, because I believe in 2012 Dame Lillard won Summer League MVP, but the co-winner of that award was Josh Selby. Do you remember Josh Selby? He used to play Kansas.
I love Josh. Yeah,
dude,
that was our guy.
He's a ball is life YouTube legend. But, I mean, his game didn't translate to the next level. Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean a summer league success doesn't necessarily translate to NBA success. So I guess we'll be watching. I think the point guard situation in Minnesota is starting to look crowded, and I think it's always good to show out. Like, that's for sure. Showing out as a professional athlete, like, you got to do it. Anyways.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to talk about is a segment we like to do called "Where You At," and this is where we talk about some of our favorite artists who we just don't know where they went. Yeah. So, first guy I want to talk about is Frank Ocean. T, what's going on with Frank Ocean?
I don't know. I mean, Frank, I respect his music. I know his mainstream stuff, but I'm not a huge advocate of him. Like, he's great. I love his music, but he's been gone for what, 4 years now? Is that too much? 2 to 4 years? 4 years? I heard.
His last album was Channel Orange. It's fantastic, but it's definitely been a while. I remember I was listening to it in, I want to say I think it's 4 years. I think it's 2012.
I mean, I don't know what he's working on, but he needs to come back. And my whole thing is, like, why wait so long? Because in music, you only have a small window to be great. One day they can stop listening to you. I remember Drake said that on "Thank Me Later," his last song "Thank Me Now," and is the last song on "Thank Me Later." He was like, "Hey, this could be the last time you listen, so while I'm still here in this position, like, you can thank me now." And he keeps making music. I think, well, I don't want to go into Drake, but I think he fears that one day people just stop listening to him, and I don't know. But going back to Frank Ocean, you only have a small window to make great music until people lose interest. I know you want to build up hype, but you can't risk losing your audience or them not liking your new sound after 4 years goes by. So I don't know where he is, but he needs to come back ASAP to save himself. I feel.
See, I have a kind of different take. Frank Ocean's level of celebrity has allowed this extended pause between albums to almost like increase his celebrity because if it depends where you're at. Like let's say Drake disappeared right now, like today he's gone. A year goes by, people are going to be waiting, like desperately waiting for him to come back. And I think Frank is at the lower end of that tier, but I still think he's part of that group. So I think the record that he puts out will be so. I also think it's just going to be critically acclaimed because people are gonna. It's going to be different. It's going to be adventurous, and there are going to be some people who don't like it, but I think critics are going to really like it just because they always do like that stuff that's very avant-garde.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge Frank Ocean fan. His music's dope. Chanel Orange is sick. Nostalgia's sick. If you haven't listened to it, you gotta get it. You gotta listen to it. But yeah, I hope it comes out soon. What do you think about what Gambino's been doing? Childish Gambino, he recently has been tweeting a little bit. There was a little countdown situation. He said he's gonna do new music at the show. What do you think about him? Do you miss him?
That's my guy. I miss Gambino a lot. I listen to at least Camp because of the internet, Stone Mountain, at least a couple times a week, and it's been a while since all that stuff released. So I don't know where he is. I mean, I know where he is. He's shooting Atlanta, his FX series, but he
Correct.
needs to get back to the music because honestly, he was better than he is better than Chance. I'll say it. He's better than Chance. And
Ooh, controversial take right there.
yeah, I mean, put it back in perspective though. When Camp dropped and then Chance was working on Acid Rap, who was the better rapper?
Man, it's funny. I think he has a line where he's like, "Oh, he did a freestyle."
I know the line. I know the line.
A freestyle where he's like, he said something like, "Me and Chance, label don't like you, but me and Chance have the same fans."
Yeah, he was like, in this real sad part, in the real crazy parts, they love Chance, but our fans is the same. You should mess with your mans. I wonder what they said when that EP dropped. His verse was whack. His verse was hot. So it's like.
So okay, well, even there, he just hinted at an EP. So maybe they even have music together. But you're right. Yeah, like I agree. I'm a huge Gambino fan. I like Chance, but I mean, we're gonna talk about Coloring Book a little bit later. But Coloring Book kind of separated him into this new category. But yeah, man, like Gambino's been up to some stuff. I have faith he's actually cooking some stuff. But he always seems like the type of guy who's going through personal stuff like all the time.
He's a weird guy. He's like Westbrook. He's just like abnormal, and I mean that's what makes Gambino's music so great. Like the way he can stop, he'll talk in the middle of a song, and then he'll go back into freestyle. I don't know if you heard that Sway freestyle. He's like literally talking to Sway.
The
pound cake. He's like literally talking. And then he's like, all right, let me turn back into a rap, and he can like flip it over. He's talented. Like he can make his own beats. He can record over them.
His voice is crazy. So I'm a big R&B guy. I love I love stuff like that. And his that where he covered the Tamia song, "So Into You." Have you heard that one?
Even like you don't have to call on Stone Mountain when he hits the hook. He's like, I got something for the hook. Like he goes crazy on it. Like
he's crazy. Next on this list, your guy, J. Cole. What's happening with J. Cole? Where's he at, man?
I don't know. I mean, the last I've heard of him, he was at he surprised at appearance at Boss's concert, one of his Dreamville artists in New York about a week ago. And I mean, it's just you're doing the same music, kid. Come on. He did like No Role Models. He did Night Job, which featured Boss. But where are you at? I mean, we're spoiled. We want a new album every year from these artists, but it's been since 2014. That's when 2014 Forest Hills dropped, and I mean, it went platinum with no features. But
man, the internet loves to remind you that it went platinum with no features.
Like you can't live off the hype. He looks like a Rasta now with his hair all over, the beard. Oh, actually, I heard he was riding a city bus in New York, Queens.
Yeah.
Like just normal. He's a very down to earth guy. I really like him, but. Cole, where are you at? I still bump Friday Night Lights every week too. It's like it's just a classic, and I mean he's a great artist, and it's just like, and people aren't really talking about it. Like people want Cole, but it's not like a pressing thing. Like where's J. Cole? Where's J. Cole? He's kind of just like, yo, I'm just vibing, like doing my own thing, and
it's interesting, especially with all this police brutality, outrage. J. Cole has always been an outspoken artist, and his music has always been very reflective, and it takes a deeper look into the human experience. At least I feel like, and to have him be kind of ghost in this situation is very odd.
Very odd.
Also, no one wants to talk about the fact that him and Kendrick were supposed to drop, and that never happened. Like,
February, like
they were
why
supposed
was
to forget
that?
that. Like, that was teased for the longest time. So maybe I'm hoping they still have some stuff in the work. But Frank, Childish, Cole, come on, guys, where are you guys at?
But
Come
you know
back.
what's an interesting parallel though?
Your stuff.
An interesting parallel. Kendrick hasn't really dropped since The Pimp a Butterfly. He dropped that Untitled Unmastered, but I'm not calling it something new because it was throwaways. But Kendrick and Cole should have dropped together, and Chance and Childish are supposed to drop together. They both have projects under wraps. It's kind of outdated now, but they should drop it for us. And I mean, those are their team. Like they're like teammates at this point. Like they're buddies, they're bros. And it's like, where's the music? And it's funny how Drake has all of them on safety. Like they won't come at Drake, but these C-list rappers want to come at Drake. But
it's definitely crazy, and we hope to see these guys soon.
Yeah.
Next thing we want to talk about is views. Actually, when views dropped a while ago, but you and me are huge Drake fans, and we kind of had different opinions. So I want when was it? When did it drop? It was in April, right? Yeah, it dropped in April.
Late April.
And we've had some time to let it ruminate and listen to it further. So I want to know. Tell me your process of listening to this album, and now what do you think about it?
From initial listening, I tried my best to make the music work because it's Drake. But from the beginning, I liked a couple tracks, but I didn't like it completely. Lemonade by Beyonce dropped a little before that, and I would listen to some reviews and go, "Hey, Beyonce's album is like better." I feel weird saying that because she's not my man's at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not my girl, and I'm just like, Beyonce really like the beats. It sound like Esco was back there working the tables.
They were tough, for sure.
And I'm like, Kendrick on Freedom went ham, and I was just like, yo, Drake, like, you got to dethrone Beyonce, but I don't know if this album, like, I don't know if you did it with this one. It was what, 18 songs?
Yeah, I think the CD, the deluxe set is 20.
Bruh, but I mean, like, it's some things you have to throw in there. Like Hotline Bling, we did not need to hear. Pop Style, I didn't really want on there. Like, I like him and Rihanna's chemistry on Too Good. They're dating now, which is interesting, but it just didn't. I just want that cover to cover feel that I guess like Kendrick and Cole kind of put together in their albums. A lot of critics say that Drake really needs to have that sound. Like, you know how Good Kid, Mad City, how he starts with Shireen, and then it goes from his stories through Compton, and then it exits with like Black Boy Fly, like how we made it out of Compton, and Afala made it out, and how he wouldn't make it out. But Drake never has that cover to cover feel, and I'm like, it's really just a bunch of different sounds he's trying to put together, and I don't know if it really worked together. He has the reggae vibes on Controller, One Dance. What's the other one? Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, he has that going. Then he has like the slow, Keep the Family Close, Fire and Desire. And then he has his classic interludes, like he did Bria's. Like, and So Far Gone, he had Bria's interlude. Thank Me Later, he had CC's,
yeah.
all of that. Buried Alive with Kendrick on Take Care.
Cameras and
Cameras,
Good
Ones goes. And then so I was expecting Summer's Over, but I don't like it at all. I've probably never listened to that whole interlude end to end because it's not Bria's interlude, it's not CC's interlude, it's not Cameras Good Ones Go interlude, and it's not the same. And I don't know what he's doing on that album. I like it now just because it's Drake, and I feel like just because of the hype and who he is, I like all his songs. But I think he went platinum in 8 weeks, almost not completely off his name. Like the songs are great, of course, but they're just not Drake.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we build this guy up to be, just we want him to be the GOAT. Like we want this guy after when he's done and he's looking back on his career to be like, man, this is our number one. This is the person you put in your top five, and he changed the game basically. And he is changing the game because the whole release date thing when like the idea of a surprise release date kind of that cycle kind of began when If You're Reading This Is Too Late. Like when he dropped that, everyone was like, wait, is this for real? Like Twitter was jumping, like it was. He started that, and that's become a trend in music.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he really started that though. Surprise!
I had the same feeling when I first heard Views. There was a lot of songs that I was like kind of disappointed about, and I remember telling you this, that like this is 40s coming out party. Like this is the music of this album is incredible. Like the record, and the samples and the time that he spent with the record is incredible. But like some of the lines, like they were just not to his level. And to your point, where you say that Drake hasn't put a cover to cover experience, like Good Kid, Mad City, that's a movie. That is like you close your eyes and you're in Compton and you're going through that experience and you're like, oh my God, like Kendrick has been through some shit. Like this is a crazy, and you feel stuff. But Drake has never really done that. But my point is, why does he have to? Why do we have to hold him to the standard? Like we say that we need to hold these guys to the standard because that's what people are doing now. That's what Kendrick's doing now, and it's kind of changed the game. Like it receives this critical acclaim, but Drake's a hitman. Like he does what he wants. He makes songs like Controller and One Dance, and he turns the world on fire. And I honestly think he's at his best on stuff like What a Time to Be Alive. Like that is so much fun. Like it's just fun. It's not it's not a talking big picture. It's not him trying to go deep. It's whatever he's feeling. And he literally put Future on his back, and now Future's a staple in hip hop.
Yeah.
Future you don't think he's a staple?
Future was a monster before that, but that really validated Future, I guess. And it was big for Drake, but bigger for Future because Future really needed that cosign. He didn't need the cosign, but now he's like mainstream America loves Future now. I think because Drake kind of like signed his name next to him. And maybe Drake's trying to do that now with Gucci. I don't know what they have going on, but I think Drake's trying to help Gucci really get to the big platform too. But it's just so interesting. And I don't know, Drake, did he sell his soul for the radio though? You know how on Let Nas Down on J. Cole's 24 on Born Center when he's like, I felt so ashamed I let Nas down because he made Workout, which was like a radio song, and it went huge.
Why be like? Workout's crazy. Like I love that song. I hear it still, and I'm like, man, that's a banger.
Yeah, but I know. But think about how much better, not better, but like how different he rapped on like Friday Night Lights. I call that the hungry rap, and it's not like the radio songs. Yeah, the radio loved it, but that's not J. Cole's rapping. And I mean, like Drake can rap. He's an entertainer. He can hit the hook. He can rap. But bar for bar, when's the last time you heard Drake like go off? And then he like after the album he drops 4 p.m. in Calabasas, and I'm like, yo Drake, where was this on the album? Like
that joint is actually like so much better than some of the songs.
It's fire. I'm like, yo, where's 4 p.m.? Like you had 9 a.m., you had 5 a.m. in Toronto. Why didn't you drop 4 p.m. in Calabasas on the album? Like, come on. I mean, granted, it wouldn't have fit the album, but nothing fits the album. So it's like...
It's true. I mean, it's funny. Like, in interviews, he did, like, this long interview with Zane Lowe about talking about the album, and he said, yeah, like, it's about the seasons and the seasons changing in Toronto. But, like, this is as jumbled an album as, we've ever heard. Although I will say this, if you cut... I personally would cut 7 songs, and it would be one of the best records of the year, in my opinion.
Name 3 or 4 of them you would cut.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm going to pull up the track list real quick, because I want to do this justice. Because, like, it's too good. He's too good an artist just to say,
He's a radio tycoon. Like, Hotline Bling, he really, like, he knows the system. Like, he knows what the radio wants to hear, and he gave him that with Hotline Bling.
100%. Okay, so first of all, I'm cutting Hotline Bling. Like I don't need to hear that again. It's good, great record, but it got its play. It got its play in the summer of last year's summer, and it was hot. And I'm cutting that. So I'll go upwards. I'm gonna cut. What am I cutting? I'm cutting Child's Play. I'm not a fan.
I kind of like it.
It's okay.
That's when I was like bounce out. It's like whoa. That's the one. That's Child's Play.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I'm cutting that. I'm cutting Pop Style. I don't need to hear that again. Also, the version with Kanye is better. I don't know why you had to mess with that. I'm cutting that.
I'm kind of happy you cut Kanye, but hey.
I'm cutting Faithful.
That know me better than I know myself. That one.
Honestly, I don't remember how it goes. I'm trying to sit here.
Work it, ain't ya? You ain't got no time.
Yeah. True. I'm gonna cut that one. I just don't think. I'm just not a big fan of it. I'm cutting Redemption. I think that song is whack. I think he didn't bring it on that one. I just don't. I'm not a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna cut. No, what would I do? I would also change the order. I think you gotta change the order a little bit.
Yeah.
I like it starts out so well. Like Keep the Family Close flows really well into 9, and then I like You With Me's okay. It's a little in his feelings a little bit. He gets in his bag a little bit. That's whatever. But I Feel No Ways, I really like that one. Hype and Western Road Flows are hard tracks. They're good on the album. But then, like, once it hits Redemption With You, it starts to get into this weird, this different vibe. Anyways, so those are, what were that, 4 tracks, 5 tracks?
Yeah.
4 tracks I cut right away. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of the song Views. I mean, I know you got to have it because it's Views. The beat is crazy, but I think he could have done better with it.
But that's interesting though. Reordering the tracks, I kind of thought about it a little bit, but it's like if you're changing. If in the interview he said that he's like the season's changing, then it's like you got to throw the reggae tracks together. You got to put One Dance, you got to put Too Good, and you got to put Controller all together. If that's what you're changing into, if you're going in your feelings with Redemption, You With Me, like you got to pair that together, and then it's
that's
like
a winning thing.
if you have like I think Faithful's very very similar to Child's Play. I think you got to group those together. Like you really got to have them clustered. And he tried to spend time on his outros. Like, I mean, he's been experimenting with it. It's not his greatest thing. I think Kendrick does them 300% better than Drake does. But I think that if he had those segmented very well into each other, like to go back to Pimp a Butterfly, it literally like the beat literally segments into the next song. That's all I ask. I don't ask for a complete narrative story. Just make them flow. Like don't make the beat completely change. I know 40's capable of it clearly, but
for sure,
just keep them clustered together. But yeah, I cut Hotline Bling. I cut Pop Style. I like Feel No Ways. I wouldn't cut that. Redemption's on your mind.
I just think. I mean, now we're being picky, right? Like we're taking pieces out of something that's a whole, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is like even when you cut these pieces out, the whole still is eclectic, and there's still lines that are kind of weak. And I don't know. We are going to forgive Drake for sure. I'm not gonna say I don't like this record. I still think it's good. I do enjoy listening to it. Drake will always provide an enjoyable listening experience. Like that's 100. Like he's never gonna change that.
Yeah.
He knows how to make good music, but
we can
it was disappointing. But everyone knows it's been disappointing.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving forward.
Yeah,
so,
we can dive further into another segment. Just talk about views and Drake's progression because that's a whole nother thing.
For sure.
We can bring some help.
Yeah, I mean, once Jeremy comes back, he'll go in a little bit because he has some great opinions on that.
Yeah.
The XXL magazine posts every single year a new freshman class, and every year it seems to catch more and more heat. But there were some notable people that were left out. T, who would you add to this freshman class? Who would you take out? Let me hear what you got.
I'm taking the Clone War. I'm taking like the Clone out. I'm taking Designer out. And like I just don't I'm granted you had the hottest song of the year, but buddy, where's the follow-up track? We can go into that a little bit later.
Oh, we're going to go into that.
But like where's the come on. Granted first, when I heard Panda, I thought it was Future. I swear I thought it was Future. I was like, yo, Future's trying this little blah thing. I don't know how to do it. Like the blah, whatever he does. I was like, yo. I was like, the ad-libs are crazy. I'm like, yo, Future really, like, not progressed, but, like, I like it. And then my homie goes, yo, that's not Future. I'm like, whoa, he's trying to question my music knowledge. I'm like, that's Future, right?
Coming at you.
Yeah, he's trying to come at me. I was like, nobody like rolls on the beats like that. And they're like, nah, it's this guy Designer with 2 eyes. I'm like, bruh, what? So I would take him out. And then personally, who I would add, he's a New York guy. He's hot recently. A Boogie with the hoodie. I'll add him. He has more songs than Designer right now. Granted, his songs aren't hotter than Panda was, but the substance is there. He's on Hot 97 on the daily. I'm from New York, so I listen to that frequently. He's coming up. He has a song called My Ish, and another one called In My Bag. Really think those are great tracks right now. And not that he deserves to be there at this moment, but I would give him the nod over Designer only because Designer, I don't see him being able to replicate Panda, and he doesn't speak English anyway. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. He mumbles when he talks, so.
So you definitely got to hop on Genius every time you listen to a track just to make sure, just to get the general sense. I mean, even when, like, the general sense of his records aren't necessarily some greater meaning anyways, but, you got to keep up. So, for, like, my obvious first reaction when I saw his class is a lot of guys that I really liked, but also some guys I didn't know, but one person was really missing for me, and that's Post Malone. Post Malone is a really awesome artist. Like, has dabbled in the world of hip hop, came out with White Iverson. People loved it. A lot of people hated on him because he's white. Obviously, people just think he's an industry plant. But if you listen to his record, August 26th, you'll see that he is low key becoming the next Hook King. Like his singing voice and his ability to flow over melodies and stuff, it's really, really melodic and really nice. And I think he's definitely done enough work at this point to be validated as a member of that class. I actually think I read something where he turned it down, which would make some sense, at least for him not being a part of it.
Okay,
but like,
that makes sense.
I can only imagine if you had post in one of those freestyles, like how it would have, or one of those ciphers, I should say, how it would have changed. Anyways, that's one of my guys. But another thing I gotta say about these ciphers, T, is these guys, these young guys, they catch so much hate from old golden era hip hop guys. Why do you think people hate on these young guys so much?
Yeah, that's our segment. Why you always hating? But why you always hating? Shouts to YG. But I don't know. I think I personally not 100% sold on this new sound, this little down south with Lil Yachty and whoever else, Kodak Black. Lord knows where he's from, but
that's Florida.
He's Florida. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I lived in Florida for a little bit. I can clearly see that. But I don't like the sound. I just don't hear the substance. I don't hate on them, but maybe they'll grow on me. Future grew on me. Trust me, I was not a fan off rip. I don't think you were either. It was just Jeremy who was in the hive talking about future. But I don't know. I just don't think they can. I don't know how well they can replicate what they're doing because it's just. Yeah, their audience is the South. They ride with their guys forever. Like, even back to the College Park days. Like, they rode with their guys, like the ATLs. And I just don't. Their music just doesn't register with me. Like, the beats are hot, but I just don't hear, like, even like Thugger, I don't like him. The new era, I don't like. I don't.
Come on, man.
Like, I don't dislike. I mean, I dislike them. I don't hate them, but I just don't. I'm not sold on them, and. It brings to the point, like, who do you think your freshman of the year was? You can respond to the first part and then give me who you think won the MVP.
All right, so the reason why I think these dudes catch hate is because, well, obviously, people aren't ready for change, right?
That's true.
And I think we're turning into this era of hip-hop where the musicality and the sound is more important than the lyrics. Like, the lyricist doesn't have a place in mainstream hip-hop as he used to. Like, I think Lil Dicky's a really interesting case because I think he's an awesome feature. Like, this is the type of guy that you want featured on your track because he'll come out with a hot bar and he'll bring a nice 16 to your track and he'll give it some variety. But, like, have you listened to a full Lil Dicky mixtape? Like, I haven't. Not because, and I know he's good. His cipher was crazy. His freestyle is crazy. His talent is awesome. But I don't actually want to listen to that much. You know, I think that's interesting. And I'm a proponent of this new school. Actually, I'm working on a piece right now for why they deserve your respect and why they actually have this talent.
Uh-huh.
I think there's something to be said for why it's important for there to be something new in the game. Like why I think Lil Yachty, even if you don't like Lil Yachty, you need to appreciate his creativity because he could inspire something that you actually would like, or he could collab and be on something that you would like. And you don't have to like everything, and and these artists aren't going to be the next Cole, Kendricks, and Kanye's, but they make fun music, and I think we're kind of turning the corner a little bit. I'm working on a piece on that. I'm going to post that a little bit later.
Okay, yeah.
But so my MVP of this class, do you mean in terms of their performance in the ciphers, or just as artists?
You can go both. Who won the cipher and who won freshman of the year?
Okay, so for me, winner of the cipher, hands down, Lil Uzi Vert. Like,
Ooh.
I know you're not going to agree with that, and I want you to bear with me. I'm going to make my case. So first of all,
he's a hood favorite.
I really like this guy. Like, he's this little dude from Philly with the purple hair twist, who's got this like melodic voice, and I don't know why. I really like this dude. But here's why I think he won. So his verse is not written, and that's a fact. He freestyled the whole thing, and I appreciate that because. The cipher was created in like a lunchroom table where you take the pencils, you bang on the table. I mean, I can't really do it, but you bang on the table and you'd be around all your boys and everyone would get a turn. And it was, nobody writ anything. If you writ anything, people would know and they'd think you were whack. But so he comes out with just this great flow and he freestyles the whole thing. But I also think he's the MVP because he refers to other people in the room. and he tries to hype them up a little bit. So he's not only freestyling, but he's also the hype man at the same time. And he just brought the energy of that room up all the way. He turned it all the way up. And as you, I mean, I have to keep rewatching this freestyle because I love it so much. But the energy in that room and everyone's response is so positive that like it just brought everybody up. I think he's my MVP, but my artist MVP is Anderson .Paak. Like
I was gonna
by
go
far,
there. He's a Canadian man, right?
That group. Pardon?
He's a Canadian man, right?
No, he's a Cali man. He's
okay.
I think he's TDE honestly.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. He was on the Blank Face record. He does tracks with Kendrick, I think.
Punch is the man.
He's TDE.
Punch, he's the man.
Yep. Punch is out there. But okay, Anderson .Paak. I mean, we can talk about that a little bit later. But his record Malibu, incredible. You have to listen to it. But it's funny. I'm listening to it, and I don't even think he's a rapper. Right? It doesn't really feel like hip hop. It just feels like this soul funk revision that's so fresh and honestly could be mainstream. I think he's gonna blow up. I really think he is. But so we kind of talked about this a little bit. The Clone Wars, Designer versus Future. Like, why do you think? I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna ask this, but why do you think Designer has been allowed, not necessarily been allowed to have success, but why do you think the public has latched on to Designer? Because Panda is the #1 record.
Future paved the way. I mean, granted, I don't really like Kanye, but I gotta respect how he paved the way for J. Cole. He paved the way for Drake to go from R&B to rapping. Like he like made the bridge, and now Designer's just walking on the bridge. And I mean, granted, people are allowed to walk over it, but Future's sound is so original, and it's so different from anything we've heard before. The way like he talks about what he talks about, the way he slurs his words, and the beats are always A1. And it's just that Designer kind of took that and didn't add any variation to it. All he did was add some ad libs, and he just got to a track that Future didn't get to yet, and he just popped off on it. And I mean, I don't like Panda was good, but I don't like Designer just because he's prospering off of jocking someone's style completely. Like J. Cole took Kanye's like Last Call and Dead Presidents, and he hopped on those tracks, but he didn't try to be Kanye, and he paid homage to Kanye by saying like, how many Kanye beats do I gotta murder to prove that like I'm here, you know? So he respected who paved the way, but like Designer doesn't want to talk to Future, and Future don't want to talk to Designer, and Future refuses to acknowledge Designer, which he rightfully so should, but like they don't mess with each other. And I mean, like, is that beef in the making? Like, do you want them to both go back and forth? Will that keep Designer around long enough? Because I feel like Designer's like the new boys right now. You know how they made the Jerk and like they fizzled away? I feel like Designer, especially we can jump into this new track he dropped, Timmy Turner. I actually just listened to it like about a few hours ago before we started this podcast, but the reason it took me so long because I don't like Designer, and I listened to the track, and I mean, you can't understand what he's saying. My buddies tagged me in his videos on Instagram. I don't know what he's saying. He slurs. I think he's like, something is like actually wrong with him. I don't want to name call or anything, but I think something's really wrong with him, and I just don't understand. I just don't understand how the public in mainstream America is just like so behind this guy. And it's like Future still got it. Future Purple Rain on Wicked, that's still a club banger. That's like varsity. Designer's JV, you know. So, and especially that Esco tape he got. That's tough.
Esco, I mean, what a surprise. I mean, that thing just dropped, and it's like the first 4 tracks are they go so hard. Anyways, I hear you. I don't like the Clone Wars. I like variety. I like hearing new sounds. However, Timmy Turner, that is a different sound, and it's the difference is that, you know, the word slurring and the deepness of his voice are very similar. But I think if Timmy Turner is actually indicative of this new lane that Designer is venturing into, I think we're actually going to see maybe a split in terms of the path that Future has paid, and then now it feels like Designer has been following this path. I think he's going to curve off a little bit, because Timmy Turner, when it first dropped, it came out as that freestyle, right, from XXL, and it was melodic and it was dark, and it was like, man, like, you know, it was kind of different, and people were excited. They were like, man, I can't wait to hear this. This thing's gonna be a banger. And I I've listened to it a couple times. I think it's good. I think whoever produced it, I think it's Mike Dean. I think he put a little bit too many effects on it. But it seems like it's kind of. I think now he's kind of tailing off a little bit into the Travis Scott lane. Like it seems the especially the kind of music. Like the beats are seeming Travis Scotty a little like Nightmare on Elm Street, but
Travis
like the trap version of it. Like that's kind of what it's starting to feel a little bit like.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that Timmy Turner is going to be the way that he gets out of this kind of future loop. Anyways, so top five. We like to do we like to rank things in our group chat. We like to debate. And one thing that I wanted to do, I really, really wanted to talk about is your top 5 albums of 2016. Now, granted, it's halfway through 2016, but I have my top 5. I know you have your top 5. Start us off from 5, T. Where are you going?
This is off the top. Okay.
Always off the top. Never prepared. Off the top.
Never prepared. I mean, I don't know who I want to give the throne. I mean, I almost feel comfortable still. I said it before. I almost feel comfortable giving, like, Beyonce the crown. I don't know, because that album was good. Here's the options I have. I like Coloring Book a lot. I like Lemonade, obviously. I like Views, because that's Drake. That's my guy. I don't know if I count Untitled and Mastered as, like, a project. I don't really know. And
that's why we use I said albums, but we can say project. I think project's better, because I even think Coloring Book was, like, they considered it a mixtape album, whatever. But, yeah, like, where are you going to go?
I got that. I got YG's tape. I really like that a lot. I bumped that a couple times a week as well, and it's just like it gives you that old school Snoop, Death Row feel, and it's just like you just imagine Snoop in Long Beach, just like I know, just with his flag. I mean, like with the Crip flag. I mean, granted, YG's blood, but like you just get that whole feel, and I'm just like, yo, I like this YG, especially like Gimme Got Shot or like. Who Shot Me? I just love those tracks. Especially Drake has his foot in everything. He hopped on. Like he has no chill. That's a whole nother discussion. But
he does everything to stay relevant. But for sure.
But
okay. So how many albums is that?
So I like Lemonade. I like YG. I like Coloring Book. I guess I'll include Untitled Unmastered in there, and then.
And you're going Views, right?
Views, yeah. So if I had to rank them. I don't want to disrespect Drake, but I'm just not saying it's not a great album, but I almost got him in like.
5. It's not disrespect.
All right, so I got him in the 3rd spot. So I'm gonna start. I want to give.
Wait, you're gonna start from 3?
Yeah, I'm gonna start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm gonna give. I might give Beyonce the crown. I don't know. It's just granted, she has 72 ghostwriters on the album. It should be crack, but. That was like very quitting, like that's quitting on roids. But I'm gonna give her the throne. I'm gonna give YG second, just cause he's just a bull guy to me. Like I love YG, right? So, and that's really what's his coming out party for me. Like I bumped some of his older stuff, but I really took the time to listen to Still Brazen. I like it a lot, so I'll give him 2. I'll give Views 3.
3, okay.
Yeah, I'll give Chance 4. Chance probably in the ideal world deserves to be a little higher. And maybe Beyonce shouldn't be 1, but I'm going to give Chance the 4 spot just because he tried a new sound. And I really like the gospel flow, but I know that wasn't for everybody.
Yeah.
So I'll give him the 4, but I really appreciate his work. And it's only halfway through the year, but he really put his name and he really put the industry on watch. That's saying I'm the best. I'm the best.
Right now is so like.
His price is up, like DJ Khaled would say. Like his price is up right now. I mean, yeah, that's an album that's coming out soon. Major Key. Well, there's a lot of bangers on that track right now as it's coming out. But that's 4, and then I'll give Untitled Unmastered 5, just because no disrespect to Kendrick, but that wasn't a real project, fam. And I mean, like, I like track 2, track 7, which is like Pimp Pimp Hooray, and then he goes into it, and some of the tracks are tough, but. It's very Kendrick-y, and I like it, but it's just like he knows it's not a real album, so I'm not really violating him, but I'll give him the 5 spot.
Fair. All right, so at my 5 spot, I've got Schoolboy Q, Blank Face LP. So this, I don't know if you've really listened to this record yet, but it's in terms of like painting a picture with music, it's one of the best I've heard in a long time. Like cover to cover. A consistent sound. I think the production with Schoolboy Q's voice
Mm-hmm.
is perfect. Like I think he's been so well matched with who he is and how he sounds and what the message he's trying to convey and the story he's trying to paint.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really quality record. I love the song "Dope Dealer" with E40. That song goes hard. Metro Boomin produced it, so obviously it goes hard. But a lot of really good songs, really good sound. It's also on the long side. I believe it's 17 tracks long, but you don't really notice it as much because it flows pretty nicely. And I think another thing that's cool about it is Schoolboy's put out a lot of videos and stuff that he's done, like amping the album up, and he's being real creative. I think he's a really talented artist, and I really appreciate what he put out. Number 4 for me, Chance the Rapper, Coloring Book. We actually agree on this. Number 4, I think the reason why I'm ranking him so high is I've always liked Chance, but I think the reason why it deserves a 4 spot is because of his versatility. I think the album has a gospel sound, but he also flexes a little bit on that song Mixtape with Young Thug and Lil Yachty. I mean, the chorus is him and Young Thug, but you can't tell who's who because he's able to show that he can do that style. Also, that song "Smoke Break" with Future, it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. It's a great song.
What's that track when he's like, "If one more label try to stop me"?
No problem.
That song's tough too. Yeah, so he is very versatile. I agree.
Yeah. Number 3, "Anti" by Rihanna.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you. So I was a casual Rihanna fan. Like I appreciated, her talent, but she was real poppy, and it was real poppy, and it didn't really vibe with me. But then somebody got me to listen to Anti, and I can't remember who it was, but I listened to this. I'm like, wow, like this is a really complete album. It's got like a really great sound. It's like really angry, but then it tails off a little bit at the end to like kind of hopeless, romantic-y, and she really takes you through the gambit of emotions, and musically she's fantastic. So shouts out to Rihanna, man, you did your thing. Number 2 for me is "The Life of Pablo" by Kanye West. Unpopular for Terence. Not a big Kanye fan, which is fine. That's okay. I just think in terms of the build up to the release of this album, to the Yeezy Season 3, to everything he was doing with the name changes. I mean, you couldn't go a day without hearing a new detail about this album. And I think as you go through it, the picture that he paints is so clear, and he really flexes on. He really, and that's a bad way to describe it, but he dips his toe in a lot of different avenues in a way that Drake, I think, tried to do, but didn't do as good a job. So I'm giving Kanye the number 2 shout. And my number 1, we referenced it earlier on this pod, is "Malibu" by Anderson .Paak. I really, really love this record, man. Like, cover to cover, every song is just so good. And I honestly can't recommend it enough. If you like soul music, if you like funk music, if you like R&B, it's like this. I mean, I honestly can't believe he was even nominated for an XXL Freshman of the Year award, because this dude like barely raps. Like he's a singer-songwriter. I mean, and the music is so wonderful. I'm a really big fan.
Wait, so what do you have views?
Outside
looking in.
If I was going to rank views, I mean, Blank Face snuck in there because I liked it a little bit more than Still Brazy. I love Still Brazy too. I'd probably put it top 8.
Well, you know what's interesting though? Sales doesn't indicate great music. So it's like if you're really doing it for the sound of the music and what you genuinely enjoy, then that's one thing. Yeah, but I mean, the pop heads would be like, views is 1, views is 1. And I gave him top 5 just because Drake's my guy. He's always been my guy for a while. So I gave him that spot out of respect, but it's like, is it about deal or is it about sales? Like, is it about like the substance or is it about how many albums you can sell? So it's interesting. I mean, it's of course no disrespect to these great artists, but you gotta come a little like you gotta do it for the music. That's why we actually liked you. So you gotta like, I call it like the hungry rap. Like on "Thank Me Later" when Drake was trying to get on, and "So Far Gone." That's arguably the best mixtape of all time, "So Far Gone," and it's like he was hungry. Like Friday Night Lights with J. Cole, like he was hungry, and it's like Kendrick had Section 80 where he was hungry looking for a deal, and it's like these great artists had those great tapes and projects, we call them now, to really put themselves on, and then I think they kind of get complacent sometimes when they're up there, unless like those bars, those verses we don't always hear how we used to. Drake's talking about you toying with it like Happy Meals. Like, really, my guy?
Yeah. No
Yeah.
shots, but shots.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Anyways, Terrence, it's always a pleasure, my man. Great talking to you.
Definitely.
To you guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We hope to do a lot more of these. Hopefully, we'll get the whole squad together. And yeah, please subscribe to the pod. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thank you for watching.